Welcome to the Hangry Games Arena, where Kelly Brewster, the author of What's Eating You and host of the Hangry Games, is shaking up the weight loss world. She's providing you with tons of resources and helpful tips to obtain your long-term wellness and weight loss goals once and for all. The Hangry Games is recorded and produced at Open Space Studios.
Well, good morning, Hangry Game Nation. Pray you guys are doing great as always as we're heading into the summer season of swimsuits, snowballs, and sweltering heat. It is a whole nother level of hot down in South Louisiana. You heard that right. I didn't just say other, it's another, which is like no other. So, and if you know, you know, and I know my homies out there can completely relate. So enjoy the last few days of just a little bit cooler weather because here it comes, right? So for many, weight loss can kind of feel unobtainable, whether it is because you have to lose like 20 or 30 pounds or more. Sometimes it's because you feel like time's like a thief on most days or even weeks. And how am I going to get another thing in on my plate? Like, how am I going to make weight loss a priority when I've got so many other things to do? And then, of course, the elusive other one is because the cost to achieve weight loss can sometimes be high. So, but is it really? I mean, is the cost to feel better, to have less joint pain, maybe more energy and feeling more confident in the new bod of yours? Is it really too pricey? And so, I think what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about how to lose weight on a budget. If you start looking at the cost of healthy foods, maybe a personal coach or a trainer, or even exercise equipment, or even a gym membership, it can seem a bit over budget. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to take that budgetary part of weight loss down to the turf, and we're going to tackle it once and for all. So are you with me? Okay, good. Let's do this. All right. So believe it or not, there are some very budget-friendly, even totally free tools and options out there that are made to help you in your weight loss and wellness journey. Hangry Games. Excuse me. However, what we're going to talk about today is some specific strategies to lose weight and still hold on to some of that cold hard cash. You know what I'm saying? All right. So first and foremost, and honestly, this is one of my biggest issues, is reducing food waste. My husband used to tell me that our fridge is where good food goes to die. For whatever reason, once we cooked it, we put it in there, it was, oh, I'm so sorry, bye-bye now. And so it got lost. It just got lost in that black hole continuum. So we have gotten much better about that along the way. But when you realize that the average American family wastes about $1,500 worth of food each year, which is about $100, a little over $100 a month, this is an area that could pay out big for you if you can start repurposing some of your food. So what does that mean? What does repurposing your food mean? Well, let's say you got a dozen eggs and you decide to boil 8 of them. You can eat the hard-boiled eggs with your breakfast or for a snack, but then you can take some of them and cut them up and put them on a salad for a topper later on in the week. And that's just kind of stretching your protein source. So instead of letting those eggs sit in there forever in a day, you're kind of using them in a couple of different ways, okay? Another way is like take an avocado, for instance. It can be quartered. You can use part of it to slice it on top of an omelet for a finisher. You can mash it up, put a little lime and cilantro, and you got a little bit of guac for garnish on something. And then you can maybe cube it and put it in a salad later on in the week. Yes, it can get a little discolored, but with a little lime juice on that, guys, the color stays brighter for a while. So just put a little lime on that and you're good to go, and it won't look unappetizing, okay? It is actually still okay to eat, but I know it kind of doesn't look very appetizing. So for me, the big one here is a rotisserie chicken. Buy the already cooked chicken. Eat the first meal like you normally would, right? So you're going to cut the leg off or the thigh off, depending on if you like dark or white meat or whatever. And, do a side salad or some veggies on the side and eat that for your first meal, right? But then maybe the rest of the chicken that you have left, you're going to cut up in cube, and maybe what you'll do is you'll try out that buffalo chicken salad recipe that we have in the What's Eating You prep meals, or maybe you can even throw those chicken cubes into an impromptu soup. Again, just repurpose it, right? So that all you got left is what's left, right? Which is the carcass. And sometimes you can even cook that puppy down with some seasonings and some heads of vegetables and, some onion pieces and garlic and all that. And you can make some awesome chicken broth or stock. So see, you can keep using that thing until there really is nothing left. Now, another really good suggestion that could cut some cold, hard cash corners for you in your weight loss journey is just skipping some of the organic options. Just chill for a minute, okay? Say, what, Kelly? What are you saying? I know. I pushed organic in the past, and it's not that I'm not having a change in heart. I promise you that I'm not, okay? But I strongly recommend buying organic meat, because what organic meat lacks is a lot of injected antibiotics and growth hormones and things like that. And it's in the meat itself. Okay, so you can't bake it out, you can't roast it out, you can't braise it out. It's in the meat, my friends. Okay, it's just there. Whereas if you are increasing your intake of fruit and vegetables and you're buying maybe conventional produce, it can be a huge difference for your pocketbook. Now, they may have pesticides or GMO products, and as always, that should be on our health radar, right? When it comes to fruits and veggies, but washing them thoroughly, and I'm not talking about dousing a little bit of a water on it and shaking it off and that's it, it's washed. No, I'm talking about scrubbing those guys down with a vegetable scrubber or a fruit scrubber, and maybe, washing them with a little dishwasher and soap and letting them soak for a little while, then rinsing them. You will get some of those chemicals off of that, which is going to make a big difference, okay? But you are going to be able to definitely go a long way in sticking with your weight loss budget too. So that's some places that I would kind of look at maybe making some changes. There are some websites. I don't have any specific ones for you. And yes, I did air quotes again. Thank you, Joey from Friends. Some environmental groups that have identified certain foods that are most contaminated, the ones you should strongly consider maybe avoiding, or I'm going to do organic for these guys. And also what produce is the cleanest and has the least amount of pesticides on them that are conventional. So what I'm getting here at the end of all of this is do your homework, because that can definitely help you cost cut, okay? So sometimes buying even frozen and or canned produce can be more cost effective. And honestly, if you just read the labels, well, a lot of these products are honestly just as healthy as your fresh versions, especially the frozen options. Sometimes they're even healthier, okay? Because they catch them right at their highest nutrient value. And I would absolutely keep an array of canned vegetables, even some canned meat. No, not potted meat. No, not Vienna sausage. No. You can get canned tuna, you can get canned salmon, chicken, things like that. Make sure it says that it's coming from a chicken breast. Make sure it's saying coming from wild salmon, that kind of stuff. But you really want to make sure that that you're looking at the labels. You want it either in water, or you want low sodium or no salt added to it. And look to see if there's any kind of preservatives in it as well. Because if you can find something that has very little salt, it's packed in water, and it's just its own juices, then you're good to go. And you can have it on the shelf and it's there for a while. So if, for whatever reason, in our area, our neck of the woods, you have hurricane season, you got a stash, you got something there if you needed to go to it, right? And it can be cost effective. A couple of additional suggestions, and we've covered these in previous podcasts, but it's worth repeating. But planning your meals and sticking to the grocery list are pivotal in staying within your budget. Buying just what is on the list and not going down that rabbit hole of binge buying can keep you within a set budget, but help you get all of your meals set for the week. Grocery lists have always been, seriously, they're a no-brainer for me. Not only does it keep me on track from a money perspective, but it's a time saver for me. And for me, shorter grocery trips, love it. I absolutely, as much as I talk about food and teach about weight loss and wellness management and all that stuff, I despise grocery shopping. I just don't like it, and I don't get it. Go in the store, pack your cart, take it off the cart or out of the cart, put it on the put it on the checkout counter. Let them check it out, put it in a bag, put the bag back in the cart, move the cart to the car, unload the cart into the car, then get home, take the bags out of the car, bring them into the house, and then unload the bags again. To me, that's just absolutely, it blows my mind, but there's no way to get around it other than somebody dropping groceries off at your door, right? Which they have, but you pay for that. So just keep that in mind, right? Another point I want to add here is grocers are not stupid, people. They're not, okay? They will often put the most expensive food items at eye level. They want to make money, okay? So what are they going to do? They're going to try, while you're perusing the aisles, they want you to look and say, oh, look, that's the most healthiest option, but it's also could be the most expensive option too. So you know what? It can't hurt for you to go low, go high, and maybe you can find a healthier, more economical option out there, you know? Another great way to stay on budget is cooking at home as much as you possibly can. Not only is this most cost effective, but you know exactly what's going into that meal. You've put it all in there yourself. So you know that there's no preservatives. You know that there's no additives or sugars that you're not aware of. You know what you're getting 100%. You know, a recent statistic has shown that you can typically feed a family of 4 with the same amount of money, if you feed them at home and you cook the meal at home, with the same amount of money that it would cost for a meal for 2 people eating out at a restaurant. And what's mind-blowing here is when you start eating out 2 to 3 times a week, or even worse, 3 to 4 times a week for a family of 4. Now that's a holy mackerel right there. That's a major budget blow. So if you can cook a little bit more at home, and you know, even if you just look, it's not a bad thing to go eat out every now and then. And if you find a really good, healthy option out there, and it's a nice little break from time to time, but if you do the majority of it at home, you are going to see some savings in the bank, and you are going to see some weight coming off. So both of those, as far as I'm concerned, are big W's, right? Big wins. So some other great tips are buying generic when it really doesn't matter. Okay, now I'm not a big fan of generic. I don't like it, but it's okay. There are some things that I'm like, all right, I can do this, okay? They do have to follow the same standards for food preparation as do a lot of the brand manufacturers. So it's not like you're getting something that's been made like, you know, by a laundromat or a pesticide plant or something. They're under the same scrutiny as the brand names are. Even buying whole foods too can be another winner here, because instead of always buying prep food, it can be helpful to get them in bulk, or whole, not bulk, but whole. In other words, what that means is instead of buying zoodles or the squash noodles, you get a whole squash and you do it yourself, right? Or you buy a block of cheese and you shred it yourself instead of getting a bag of shredded cheese. You know, by the way, when the grocer does the work for you, they are upcharging for that service. So you are going to wind up paying more money anyway. So note to selfie here, it may be a little bit more, you know, a little bit more sweat equity, a little bit more, you know, elbow grease involved. But if you do it yourself, you can save some money. And everybody, we all love a sale, and I am on the top of that list, homies. Let me tell you, I love a bargain, okay? And if you play your cards right, you can get really healthy products for a fraction of the cost if you look for sales, okay? Yes, you have to do a little homework, but if you really just check into some things, look at some things, and find those savings and sales, you really can help a lot on your pocketbook and still get really good healthy options. Now, if it is a perishable food item, you want to make sure that you have an ability to store it long term, whether you canning it or freezing for later or something like that, you know. But it can be very, very economical if you can find something on sale and then just buy bulk of it when you do. Sometimes, if you're replacing meats with other protein sources, this can also be beneficial, especially with the rate of inflation that is off the charts. I'm not going to go all like political on you, I promise, but if you don't realize that food's costing more, please, if you don't mind, remove your head out of that hole right there and take a look around. Thank you. Okay, so We do know that meats do cost more, okay? Especially animal proteins. So let's look at some other alternatives, right? So beans, lentils, legumes, and tofu. I know it sounds stinky, but you know what? It takes on the flavor of whatever you put it in when you cook it. So it's a really great option, and especially for our vegans and those that have a lot of intolerance to animal proteins and stuff. These are really good sources and alternatives and substitutions for you. Just work them into your weekly meal prep. Like, maybe I'm going to work in beans or lentils a couple of times a week instead of having a meat every single day. It's a great source of fiber for one, and if you purchase them dried, they are seriously economical, okay? I mean, really, you can get some really good deals out there. I'm always a big fan of shopping for things, especially produce, when they are in season. They taste better, they're usually cheaper, and you can find them in abundance. So you can actually stock up on them as well. And you can even go back to what we talked about before and repurpose. Like, so then maybe you can make a homemade like relish that you can apply to like some of your meats, like maybe like a nice little jalapeno peach salsa that can go on top of a salmon or something like that. Yes, I may actually cook that this weekend because it sounds good. But you see what I'm saying? So when you shop in season, it's going to taste better. It's usually cheaper. You find it in abundance. Which brings us to another suggestion, and that's to buy in bulk when it's feasible. Okay, now I don't want you to buy in bulk and then you never use it, so you've wasted money. And now we're back where we were before. It can save you a lot of money as long as you have the space for it too. I mean, like if you're stepping over your lentils to get to the bathtub, it's likely not a good idea for you to buy in bulk, okay? But some things that you can do to save some money here: grains, beans, lentils, oats. These are great products to buy in bulk. Grow your own, man. Growing your own garden. I mean, it has now become it's reclaimed its fame to become a popular family pastime. And what better way to save on your food bill than to grow your own veggies and such? Now, they're fresher. You can purchase the seeds for next to nothing, okay? And with a little sweat equity here, this could turn a huge profit in your wellness and your weight loss journey. And you can have fun in the interim, but you may have to have some food in the refrigerator and in the pantry while you're waiting for the stuff to grow. Don't rely solely on that as your only option. Otherwise, you'll be hurting, okay? So I think a really big thing to consider as well is where you are shopping, okay? So yes, there are some very high-end healthy stores that have a lot of options that are organic, healthy, etc. And they're great places. But sometimes they have crazy high prices, right? Well, I've actually found a few places that have crazy good prices. And honestly, I'm like, I really thought about not putting this in here. I'm serious. Because, I'm a little hesitant because sometimes when I share stuff, it's like, I have a tendency to, I'm a sneezer. And what that means is when I know that something's really awesome, I tell a lot of people. Well, the downside of that is that they wind up going and getting it, and then I can't get what I need because so many people are going to get it. But I will tell you this: Aldi, A-L-D-I, is a grocery store. I think it's German owned, if I'm not mistaken. Is seriously a major nugget here. It's a major cost savings win. Okay. I can get organic fruits and vegetables. It's got a great meat selection, which includes organic. It's got a good frozen food option that includes an amazing selection of seafood. I really have to say I love their seafood. This for me is a big win. Like I said, it is a German-owned company, I believe, so the labels will look similar, but the names are going to be different. So if you know what you get normally, like from a product perspective, and you're very attuned to that, this is going to be easy for you. You're going to walk in, find all the same things that you would normally get. And let me tell you something, when you walk out of that door, you're going to essentially high five your pocketbook. I mean, like you look at the bill and you're like, look at all the stuff that I've got. Oh my gosh. Now, let me just say this. You do have to do your own work when you go to somewhere like that, right? Even Sam's, same thing, or some of the big box places. or Costco and all that stuff. You have to bring a box, you have to bring your own bags. If you want the buggy, you have to pay 25 cents, which I think is amazing because then it makes you bring the buggy back, right? So it's really brilliant. From a perspective of like making people stay compliant and stuff. But as long as you're okay with that and you kind of have to dig for things and get a box and put your stuff in and then you're checking yourself out and then you're heading out the door, I don't care. If it's saving me money right now, I'm loving it, okay? And it's helping me on my wellness and weight loss journey, thumbs up on that, okay? Another area that this applies to as well is calorie counting apps and workout apps that can provide a lot of great training and information. And there are so many that are free out there, okay? Like we've talked about these, MyFitnessPal, Lose It, Fit On is a good one that's free. Albeit you got to get through some of the advertisements that they're going to put out there, and that's why it's free for them, but it's free for free. Okay. So if you're on a budget, these are some things that can be beneficial and that can help you. Okay. So don't say I didn't tell you. Okay. Right. So if you walk away with anything here, you know that you don't have to break the bank to eat healthy and lose weight in the process, right? You don't. So what are our takeaways? Let's ask yourself a few necessary questions here, like, am I planning my meals in my grocery list? Yes or no? Am I eating foods that are highly refined and processed? They're usually going to be twice the price and they're going to stay on the body twice as long. So we want to get rid of all that kind of stuff, right? If anything, don't put a price on your health. For example, if losing 15 to 20 pounds helps you to get off of one or two of those medications that you're currently on, this wasn't just a healthy option for you. It winds up being cost effective as well. So how many of these suggestions can you implement into your plan that you already have that can produce some cost savings while you're in this journey? And those are just some things that, hey, these are the things I'm going to ask myself this week and see what happens, right? And what can I implement so that I can see some cost savings in my pocketbook as well. It is so awesome spending time with you guys. We are wrapping it up in the Hangry Game arena today. When you're getting through your wellness and your weight loss journey, realize this is not a sprint. It is a marathon, and we don't want to break the bank in the process of this run or this journey. Have a great week, Hangry Game Nation, and may the odds always be in your favor. I'll see you next time. Thanks.